Winter Rose, written by Panwadee, Ponglada K, Ittimakin. Episode 6. The dark grey storm clouds lowering in the sky was making everything dark and gloomy. Before long, the rain would fall, just as several days previously. This weather was adding to Iris' sorrow and loneliness as she sat staring out of the car window. If I hadn't had to go back to university, I would have been able to see his mother again before she passed away, she thought, raising a white hand to wipe the tears from her pale cheeks. She did not want anybody, especially her mother's family, to travel in the same car to see that. She was weak and easily upset. Sitting beside her, Karen understood her adopted daughter's feelings and gently hugged her shoulder, saying, "Don't cry. Don't let people see your weakness." "Thanks, Mom," Iris said, as they exchanged a glance full of love and mutual understanding. "We will wait for you to graduate before we hold your mother's cremation ceremony in Bangkok," Katana's father said gently to Iris at the airport, while his sons and daughter looked on impassively. Wiminda's face was still heavy with grief, while her brother showed no feelings as he looked at his half-sister. Now that her mother had passed away, Iris no longer felt the need to try to be close to them. She felt that she did not want to get involved, but then, recalling her promise to her mother, her eyes softened. "I'll be there," Iris promised wholeheartedly. The widower smiled back at her encouragingly before his tall, black-suited figure went to board his flight. Iris stood still until the plane carrying her mother's body had taken off and gazed at it until it was quite out of sight. "Let's go home, Iris," said Karen, clasping her gently and leading her through the airport complex to where they were to catch their own flight back to New Jersey. "Hello, Mrs. Wilson. I'm pleased to meet you again." Katana came forward to greet Karen, seeing approvingly from her style of dress that she was of good social standing, while ignoring the young girl with her half-Oriental, half-Western features. "Wait here, and I will bring the car to the front of the terminal." With this, he walked away, leaving Iris in confusion. He had not spoken a single word to her. "I guess he's still angry. Remember that. You are his elder, and try to be patient," Karen said soothingly. "Yes, Mom, I will try," Iris replied, uncertain whether or not she could ever be close to her mother's other two children, however long she waited. Iris made herself stop thinking about this when she saw Katana's car pulling up in front of the arrivals hall at Bangkok's Don Mueang International Airport. "Let's go, Mom. The car is here." As the car sped along Panwadee Rangsit Road, Iris noticed the large billboards and that there was a traffic jam even on the expressway. It took an hour before the car finally turned left into Sukhumvit Road, a street quite unlike the wide, smooth roads she was familiar with in America. Both sides of the road were brightly lit with the neon lights of the shops and entertainment places. Finally, the white Mercedes-Benz passed through back wrought iron entrance gates and drew up in front of a large imposing house with two smaller houses to one side. As soon as the car stopped, a young Thai girl wearing a navy blue sarong that came down to her ankles and a white blouse came rushing over to help carry the bags to one of the smaller houses. I guessed from this that they must be used for housing temporary guests. Katana did not accompany them, but entered the main house as soon as had given orders to the maid. When the maid left, I glanced at Karen, who suddenly understood her feelings of loneliness and abandonment. Her mother's funeral was a major event, as was appropriate for her father's rank as an army general. Over 1,000 people, all unknown to Irie, attended the 7 days and nights of mourning, during which Irie sat motionless. Almost all the guests stared at her, no doubt wondering about the identity of this girl with her mixed Thai and Western features, who was sitting alongside the children of the deceased and the bereaved husband. Karen repeatedly squeezed her fingers to encourage her. Another person who understood Irie's feelings and treated her gently and as if she were his own daughter was the man who she now called father, her late mother's husband. He repeatedly called her over to be introduced to important guests, telling them that Irie was his eldest daughter, who had grown up overseas, so she could not speak Thai very well. His kindness and understanding suited Irie greatly. After the funeral was over, Irie had 2 more weeks to spend in Thailand. She and Karen became tourists and toured both the north and south of the country. They worshipped the River Buddha image on Doi Sute, Chiang Mai, watched the graceful women's dances of the northern region, and visited the impressive Wachiratan and Maya waterfalls. They loved the lush vegetation on the hills and forests, so different from that in America. At Doi Ang Khang, they stayed in a cottage with a thatched roof and picked fresh strawberries, as she had done back in New Jersey, and the homemade plum wine made her flushed and tipsy. At Doi Pui, the Mel Hill tribe village attracted tourists like themselves interested in seeing their lifestyle. From Chiang Mai, Karen and Irie traveled through the arid northeast, which presented a totally different scene. Even the local dialect was different. Irie was surprised that a country the same size as France could have so many clear regional differences. The innocent smiles of the villagers and few equals elsewhere, and Thailand was still the land of smiles for foreign tourists. Irie went to visit the temples and pagodas, saw the villagers lacing silkworms and weaving textiles with local designs, locking away all the pictures in her memory. At Chanthaburi gem mines, Irie saw the most beautiful rubies in the world, and she adored the beaches in the south, which she had often seen featured in travel magazines, where slender coconut palms arched gracefully over the gleaming white sand. The beaches of New Jersey and Miami, Florida, could not compare with them for natural beauty. Irie and her mother also went by train from Bangkok's Holampong station to the old capital of Ayutthaya, just over an hour away. There, they visited the summer palace of Bangpa-in, built in a mixture of Thai and European styles that was particularly intriguing to a girl of combined Eastern and Western roots like Irie. Even the buildings constructed from marble had Thai-style roofs. She had never seen this kind of art before in her life, except in her textbooks. Irie and Karen also went to pay their respects at the temple of the Emerald Buddha and at Wat Benjama Bopit, constructed from the Italian marble remaining after the construction of the Ananda Samakom Palace, situated behind the imposing statue of King Chulalongkorn. "Here's the key," said Katana, walking into the house with a hostile expression and throwing a key on to the coffee table. It was the final evening in Thailand, and Irie, busy packing, gasped, "What on earth?" She was deeply offended by Katana's manner, bringing the key to her like this, when she had never even asked for it. "Sit down. If you have anything to say it," Irie said, remembering her promise to her mother and keeping her self-control in spite of this blatant provocation. "No, I have nothing to say," said Katana, turning to leave the room. "But I have," retorted Irie, managing to stay calm and speak clearly. "Go ahead," snapped Katana moodily. "I want you to stay in the house until you have graduated. Mother bequeathed it to you, didn't she? You don't have to pretend to be a goody-goody. Everyone knows the truth. Why you come to meet Mother? You got what you wanted, didn't you? Or have you come here to steal more of our inheritance?" asked Katana bluntly. "You don't know what you are saying. Who wants what?" Irie's feelings, inflamed by his comments, made her voice equally strong. "I've already told you. Don't play the innocent. You want to inherit more from Mother. When you knew she was critically ill, you came running to her. Don't pretend that you don't know that. It is because of you that Mother had so much anxiety causing her heart disease. Mother contacted you many times, but you never came. We can see that. You have a comfortable life. You're wealthy, pampered. We don't want to have anything to do with you. Understand? When you didn't come, Mother's condition worsened until she was critically ill. The doctors could not help her, except to give her a heart transplant. It is all your fault. Yours alone. Irie, you killed your mother. If she had not given birth to you child of some fair-haired man, Mother would still be alive." Katana's words burst out of his mouth with all the force of water gushing from a broken dam. Although Irie was not fluent enough in Thai to understand everything he said, his words and anger cut her to the heart as Katana had intended, and both her hands were clenched into fists by the side of her body. Her tears flowed unchecked down her cheeks as she watched her brother's tall figure striding out of the room in a rage born from misunderstanding. "What's wrong? Tell me," said Karen, attracted by the sound of voice raised in anger as she was packing her case in her room, Although she did not understand a word of Thai, she could tell from the sound that the speakers were enraged. Hurrying to see what was happening, she had found her daughter standing alone, trembling all over, with tears streaming down her pale face. "Tell me," asked Karen again. "It isn't true, isn't it? I didn't kill my mother. It's not true, not true." Irene's voice shook. "What are you saying? Come here. Sit with me. Don't say another word," Karen said, leading her daughter over to the sofa before going to get her some cold water to drink. "Here, drink this. It will make you feel better. Then tell me what happened." Irene followed Karen's advice obediently. When she was feeling calmer and more in control of herself again, she drank all the water in the glass before starting to tell Karen what had just happened. "He accused me of wanting mother's legacy, of being the cause of my mother's death." Her voice trembled with emotion as she spoke. "Don't worry about what other people think. You are not the kind of person he accused you of being, right? Don't let your brother's words drain the happiness from your life. Katana is young and hot-headed. He loves his mother very much. It is natural for him to misunderstand and be full of accusation. Remember that you have done nothing wrong. Everything that has happened is the result of one person's error of judgment in the past. Your mother is now at peace. It is the people left behind who have to continue living with what has happened. Don't let the past rob you of happiness, especially when you are innocent. You must believe in yourself. Keep your calm. Give your brother time to think straight. Everything will come right in the end. Believe me. Go and wash your face and freshen up. Then you can help me finish packing. We are going back home tomorrow." "Yes, Mom. I'll try to be patient. Thanks for your advice." Her mother's words soothed Irie, and she hugged Karen's chubby waist, resting her face on her mother's well-padded shoulder in gratitude before leaving the room. Karen watched the departing figure of her adopted daughter, giving a deep sigh, and knowing that Irie would feel better after this, when she no longer had to have any contact with her Thai relations.